here when he was
Not going off. Now it's off and it's on.
on now.
Testing 1, 2.
I won't mess with it.
We'll now call this meeting of the Jacksonville City Council to order. I want to welcome everyone who's in attendance tonight, and also those that are viewing the meeting on G10. I want to welcome you. To start out, we're going to open with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Mayor Pro Tem Mike Lazar, followed by the invocation by our City Attorney John Carter. Please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Heavenly Father, we give thanks. We give thanks for your presence in our lives and for the blessings you so graciously bestow upon each of us and upon our city. As we each celebrated Labor Day over the last weekend, we're reminded that many people do not have work. They desire work and still remain unemployed. We pray for them. We pray for their families. We pray that good work will come to them to support themselves and their families. We give thanks for the rescue of the 25 Marines who were saved from a helicopter downing. We give thanks for all of our service members who are serving us here and around the world this evening, and we pray for their safety and for their anxious families. Give guidance and direction to our mayor and our council. All this we ask in your holy name. Amen.
All right, council, you have before you a copy of tonight's agenda.
Mayor, I move that we approve the agenda.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Next, we have minutes from two meetings. We have the August 19th, 2014 special workshop meeting and a August 19th, 2014 regular meeting.
Mayor Phillips, I'll make the motion to approve the minutes of the special workshop meeting, the regular meeting of August 19th.
Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, we have a few proclamations or presentations to make tonight, including a proclamation. And I'll come around front. First, I'd like to ask Ms. Kate Murphy if she'll join me up front here. Ms. Murphy is a member of Communication Specialist with Coastal Care. Kate. Coastal Care is a local government agency that provides access and oversight of services for mental health, intellectual developmental disabilities, and substance abuse in Brunswick, Carteret, New Hanover, Onslow, and Pender counties. They have requested a proclamation, and we are going to do a proclamation tonight recognizing Recovery Month. And I'll read this. Whereas behavioral health is an essential part of overall wellness, prevention of mental and substance abuse disorders works, and effective treatment can help people recover. And whereas more than 600,000 people are in recovery in North Carolina, and 23 million people are in recovery across the nation. And whereas community-based services that respond to the needs of the individual and family are cost-effective and beneficial, and whereas taxpayers save $7 for every dollar spent on treatment and $5.60 for every dollar spent on prevention as a result of increased productivity and reduced health care, criminal justice, and social service costs. And whereas the benefits of preventing and overcoming mental and substance use disorders are vital to individuals, families, and the community at large. And whereas Recovery Month is observed every September nationwide by advocacy organizations to raise awareness and understanding of issues related to substance use and mental health disorders, and to eliminate the stigma associated with seeking services. Now therefore I, Sammy Phillips, Mayor of the City of Jacksonville, do hereby proudly proclaim September 2014 as Recovery Month in the City of Jacksonville, and call upon our community to recommit to increasing awareness and understanding of mental and substance use disorders and the need for accessible services for all people. And Kate, I'm going to present you with a very nice little plaque there. Thank you very much. Would you like to say a few words?
Sure, yeah. Thank you very much. I just want to thank the Mayor and the City Council for your continued support of Coastal Care's efforts in the community. It's really gratifying to have proclamations like this accepted in our community. This year's theme for Recovery Month is actually Speak Up and Reach Out. So the more we talk about it, the more people sort of start to seek that treatment that we're, here to provide. On Thursday, the 25th, Lunch and Learn will actually be held where our own Consumer and Family Advisory Committee member will give a speech on the 12 steps in daily life for everyone. I thank you for mentioning the prevalence of substance use and mental health disorders because, as I mentioned, it's more prevalent and treatment is available. So thank you. And for any other events, anyone who's interested, more of those events can be found at coastalcarenc.org. So thank you.
Okay, it was very nice to see you. I have asked Miss Angela Washington, our council liaison, and is Patrick here tonight? I didn't see him. Join me up front here. This is for an Environmental and Appearance Advisory Committee, our Clean and Green Star Awards. Now we have our normal monthly recognition that our Environmental and Appearance Commission recognizes activities that advance the city's clean and green goals. And we are going to recognize tonight for recycling. This is for outstanding recycling, and this recycling award will be presented at least 3 times a year to recognize sustained recycling efforts because recycling routes are configured for efficiency, not to keep a neighborhood together. The recognition will be for specific routes. This award recognizes the combination of the highest participation and the highest average pounds collected per home. And the May 2nd quarter 2014 award is presented to the residents and businesses on Route 9, Thursday edition of Route 9. This route incorporates the Jacksonville Commons and Carolina Forest areas. And there's no single person here to accept this tonight, so I'm going to walk over here and I'm going to grab this real quick. This is what we're talking about. This is recognizing and the recycling, highest recycling rate in the city. And if you would go over there and hand that to Mr. Bittner to give him something to carry home tonight.
We'll let him come on down front.
We'll come down and get it. I was worried about his knee, but he's played golf for 3 days in a row, so I'm sure his knee's not bothering him anymore.
Thank you very much. Well, I live in a very nice neighborhood, and a neighborhood that's really, I think, endowed with a tremendous amount of civic pride, as evidenced by that high participation in recycling. I dare say that I don't go past a home in the Commons area or Carolina Forest that doesn't have their blue box out there full of recycling materials every week. So kudos to the people of Commons and Carolina Forest. Thank you.
Thanks, Jerry. Appreciate it. Keep them in shape over there. Next, we have a certificate of achievement for excellence in financial reporting to our finance department. And I see several members of our finance department staff and the finance director are here, and I'll ask you all to come on up. All right. Couldn't get everybody to come, huh?
Just the ones who work hard.
The ones that work hard. For all you that are home listening, okay. The City of Jacksonville and its finance department have been awarded the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting by the Government Finance Officers Association for its comprehensive annual financial report, or CAFR, for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2013. This Certificate of Achievement is the highest form of recognition given in the area of governmental accounting, and its attainment represents a significant accomplishment by a local government and finance department. This is the 23rd, get it out, 23rd consecutive year that the City of Jacksonville has received this recognition. The city would like to recognize the hard work and dedication of our finance department staff in achieving this award. And it does take a team to do it, doesn't it, Gail?
Yes, sir.
And,
Do without 'em.
yep. And this is the award, and there's a little star, a gold star, I believe it is, to go on your plaque. And I'll present this to you at this time, and thank you very much for all the work that you do, all of you. Thank you.
Speech. Speech.
I want to thank all of you for taking time out to come out tonight to be with us to receive this award. I also want to thank Ms. Kate Murphy for coming out again tonight from Coastal Care. And also, Jerry, good job on your neighborhood over there and keeping Jacksonville clean and green. All right.
Do we thank the finance staff for keeping the manager straight in terms of his abacus compared to their adding machines?
Luckily, he doesn't do their math for them. Okay. Clemson, you know.
It's that fuzzy Clemson man.
Clemson math doesn't work well up above the North Carolina-South Carolina line, I don't think.
How was the game the other night?
Don't talk to him about that. You might not want. They were looking good for a while.
Till they kicked off, yeah. Till they kicked
Then
off.
Georgia decided they were ready to play football. We have now our first section of public comment for the evening, and I noticed that there has no one signed up for the public comment, but if there's anyone that came in after the list was taken up, if you would like to come up and speak, feel free to do so. Sir, did you have your hand up? No. Okay. All right, so next we will look at our consent items here. You have also, council, you should have copies of all the consent items that were on the agenda for tonight. And at this time, I would entertain a motion to adopt the consent items.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, we're going to go all the way to agenda item number 6. This is a voluntary annexation petition for shops at Carolina Forest, a 4.57 acre corner of Western Boulevard and Carolina Forest Boulevard. And Mr. Massey is going to present this item. Mr. Massey.
Mayor and council, a voluntary annexation petition was received from Carolina Forest investors for a 4.57 acre tract that is contiguous to the current city limit boundaries. Once annexed, the parcel will be combined with the adjacent vacant parcel of 6.56 acres for future development of shops at Carolina Forest. The proposed use of this property is to develop a grocery store anchor with retail shops and a junior retail anchor. The financial analysis shows a positive net cash flow over the 5-year period. And staff recommends that council adopt the annexation ordinance as presented.
Thank you. Council, any questions of Mr. Massey? Thank you, Ron. At this time, I'm going to recess the regular city council meeting up in the public hearing, required public hearing in this matter. Is there anyone present wishes to speak on this matter? Please indicate by raising your hand. I see no one, so I'm going to close the public hearing in this matter, reconvene the regular council meeting. Council, you're being asked to consider the annexation ordinance.
Mr. Mayor, I move we adopt the annexation ordinance.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Next on agenda item number 7, this is a memorandum of understanding with the Onslow County over the Burton Park easement. And Dr. Woodruff, our city manager, will be presenting this item.
Mayor, members of council, tonight we come asking you to approve a memorandum of understanding between Onslow County Commissioners and the city of Jacksonville. This is extremely important to the overall growth of our water and sewer system. As you know, for many years, the master plan for the sewer and water system has proposed what we call a northwest connection that would take wastewater from the general area of Western Boulevard and Gum Branch and route it through the area, eventually through Burton Park, and eventually out to the land treatment site. The County Commission considered this and has previously approved at their meeting in August. They approved this memorandum of understanding. The highlights of this would be that the county would deed to the city a 28-foot wide permanent easement for the installation of a 36-inch force main through Burton Park. There would also be additional footage to create a 50-foot easement, most of it being permanent and the remainder being temporary for construction purposes. In exchange for the easement, the city is agreeing through this MOU that we will fund the cost of the demolition of the tax office on Tallman Street and the construction of public parking thereon. This is an example of when the county and the city come together, how we can save the public money. Now, how does this save the public money? Well, number one, as you will remember from workshops, there were alternative routes that the city could take to accomplish this new sewer force main. All of those routes were substantially more expensive than the route that the county is giving. So through the county's cooperation, it will save the ratepayers of the city over $1 million. In exchange for this, we are agreeing to the demolition of the tax office. How does that help all county taxpayers? Well, that cost is over between $700,000 and $800,000. So by the city and the county working together, the ratepayers of the city are going to save money, and the taxpayers of Onslow County, which obviously includes the taxpayers of the county who live in the city, are likewise going to save roughly $750,000. We would recommend this to you. The city attorney is to be commended for the hard work he has given in working out the details. I would certainly like to commend the county manager, Jeff Hudson, and the county attorney for the work they have done. And at this time, Mayor, I turn it over to you all for questions or for action.
I got a quick question for you. On the parking, that we're going to be spending $700,000 to $800,000 on tearing that building down, that will be off-street public parking, correct?
That is correct. There is one caveat. As the facilities for the court expand, they have requested the ability to have specific reserve parking for certain county employees, meaning judicial employees. So the lot itself will be a public parking lot. At a future date, we will be working out the details of exactly when or how many reserve spaces would be put in, but the vast majority of those spaces will be public spaces.
Okay. One other question on the Burton Park issue there. Is there any unforeseen or any problems there now as far as running the line through the park?
None that we have found. The county did a very thorough analysis with Parker and Associates being their consultant to identify the best possible route for the line going through Burton Park. I believe Mr. Parker has left the meeting already, but he put together a master plan which laid out the development potential for Burton Park. This route is based upon his master plan and is located to the best of his ability and the best of our ability to project where the roadway system should go. The only caveat where the line goes in that could cost us money is if in the future that line should have any type of conflict with water or sewer that Onwassa would be putting in to serve any businesses that would go into the park itself.
But that doesn't exist at this time.
No, sir. It does not exist at this time.
Well, now that you brought that up, it's an interesting question. You talk about a conflict. How would the conflict be resolved?
Well, the conflict would be resolved by us relocating the force main to the minimum degree necessary. But I will also remind you that this force main is going to be designed at a deep location, whereas the collection system that Onwassa would be putting in, or the distribution system for water, is relatively shallow. We feel that while no one can guarantee that conflicts won't come up in the future, it is unlikely that those conflicts will come up. Of course, I know that the first month that it's there and a conflict will come up, y'all will remind me, especially Mr. Thomas, you stood there and said conflicts are unlikely. What we will say to you, though, is after looking at the profile that we anticipate being able to design and permit this line, we are very comfortable that the city has slim chances of ever having to relocate it because of the depth.
Our engineers have had access to any as-built that may exist in that park?
Yes, but remember, the as-built that are there today are primarily the as-built of the system which were the system that was installed several years ago. So we already know where those lines are. As you said, they're as-built. We believe that we can install this line and honor, without any conflicts, the current system and the proposed system that they'll be putting in to serve the future expansion of that park.
Yeah, and my only concern there is if something does happen and we're not able to put that there, then what?
Well, the line will go in first. I mean, our line will actually go in first.
Mm-hmm.
All we will have to do, because remember, it is a force main. Now, if it was a gravity system, we would be under much tighter constraints. But because it is a force main system, you would actually be able to trench it deeper and get around those conflicts. So we don't believe that this is any significant liability to the city.
Okay. Council, any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Councilor, you've been asked to approve the memorandum of understanding.
Mayor Phillips, I'll make the motion for approval of the memorandum of understanding.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Just wanted to make one comment to express my own personal appreciation for the cooperation from the county commissioners, Commissioner Buchanan, Barbara Eichner, W.C. Jarman, Jack Bright, and Lionel Midget. As the manager stated, this will save the ratepayers a lot of money as opposed to the alternatives that we faced along the way. So it's great to see that.
And I'll echo that same sentiment. To me, it looks like win-win-win all over the board there, so.
The only caveat I would put out there is I'm not sure how rapid we need to move on this project, given the pace of growth that we've seen lately, but I know it's needed and will be needed in the future. I want us to move slowly and deliberately now that we've gotten the rights along the way, that we get it as we need it.
I don't know how that timetable will work as far as putting that line down. Won't it have to be in conjunction with the road being built?
No, sir. The thought would be that the city would have up to 10 years in which to actually initiate and install the project. And that does give us the flexibility to look at need and growth projections. It also gives us the important ability to look at bond debt that will be rolling off so that we can replace that bond debt with this debt without having to look at the rate structure. The other side of it is we would anticipate, though, that this would go in earlier than the road system expansion. Now, on the other hand, if growth really turns around in Burton Park and we begin to see a lot of businesses move in there, you could, in fact, see this line go in on a different schedule.
And this one would be the one that would pretty much take up the northwest end of Jacksonville along the Ramsey Road corridor in that area too.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Would that also give us the ability to pump a different direction if we had a problem at the main pump station or if the main breaks?
That is correct. What will now give you is, if I can use the term, a circular system, whereas today you have only one straw that's going out. And as you know from an email that I sent out earlier today, we did have some difficulties at the main pump station. That has been resolved. But again,
I think it would be a nice thing to be able to have that redundancy in a case just like that happened today. That could have been a lot worse.
Yes, sir.
If you weren't able to pump and it kind of backs up. That could cause all kind of trouble for everybody. Couldn't it?
especially on certain people's birthdays, we would not want
Don't
that
want
to
to mess.
happen.
Don't want to do that. No. Okay. Any other discussion? All right. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. So now, that brings us to the end of the show, the end of the meeting. I do have one more section of public comment. If anybody changed their mind, wants to speak. I don't see anyone rushing to the podium, so we'll go right straight into the reports, and I'll start with Mr. Warden.
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Thomas.
Well, I'll make this one report, I guess, since it's relevant to most of the council. I guess, sans Ms. Angela Washington, there's a, I heard that today that on the September 13th out at the Jacksonville Commons, there's going to be a senior, what is that? Have you read about it? At the Recreation Department, they're having a senior day. I guess that's, not a day, senior day. What if it was, it's put on by the county.
Senior Expo?
The Senior Expo, right, from 8:30 until 1 on Saturday, September 13th. There's going to be 75 vendors. You'll get a free blood pressure check.
And they're doing that at the Commons.
It's going to be at the Commons this year as opposed to the 258 location.
It's usually a very well-attended event, too, by the
And
way.
it sounds like a lot of good information for us seniors.
Us seniors, exactly. You seniors, excuse me. Ms. Washington.
Let me speak with authority on that.
I have a report for the Environmental and Appearance Advisory Committee. On Thursday, August the 28th, members of the Appearance and Partnership Subcommittee of the Environmental and Appearance Advisory Committee were at the Sanitation Division to show their appreciation for the service they performed and the support of the Clean and Green Jacksonville. With help from the Hampton Inn and Panera Bread, a go-to breakfast and snack was furnished to some 40 members of the Sanitation Division beginning at 5:30 that particular morning. Subcommittee Chairman Linda Smith was joined by Mrs. Willie Saunders, Mrs. Minnie Pearson, Mrs. Ozzie Keys, as well as our newly elected Environmental and Appearance Advisory Committee Chairman Grace Hawbrick. City Manager Dr. Richard Woodruff and Director Wally Hanson and Mr. Kerry Terrell, the Sanitation Superintendent, was also on hand, along with Hampton Inn General Manager Lindsay Thomas. The appreciation comes after a successful April city-wide cleanup program. And this month, we encourage everyone to use the city services with the Sanitation Division as they clean up their homes. And more information will be on the city website and Facebook by calling the Sanitation Division in terms of a specific date for our September cleanup. Thank you.
Mr. Bittner.
Yes, Mayor and Council. As liaison to the Civic Affairs Committee, I'd like to report that the arrangements are set for the annual Patriot Day 9/11 ceremony. The event will begin at 8:15 a.m. Thursday, September 11th at the 9/11 Memorial. This annual ceremony by the committee will feature remembrances of those who perished in the 9/11 event and afterwards in the War on Terror. The Marine Corps 2nd Marine Division Band, Jacksonville High School Orchestra, and Northside Singers will perform. The next item that the Civic Affairs Committee is sponsoring is the annual Freedom Fountain observance. That is now set for Thursday, November 6th at 6 p.m. This will be the first time it's been held in the evening, marked at 6 p.m. This will be the annual telling of the story of the fountain and its history in our community. Will include a water element as well as the annual Freedom Address. Retired Colonel Grover Lewis, who is a member of the Community Development Advisory Committee, will deliver the 2014 edition of the Freedom Address. A few weeks ago, switching gears to Onwassa, I attended the groundbreaking ceremony for the Northwest Interceptor Line, which will open up sewage availability along 258 to the new treatment plant that the Onwassa is constructing. The featured speaker was Mr. Billy Sewell, representing, I believe, the Governor's Council on Economic Development, who spoke highly of this opportunity for new and expanded business opportunities. The construction on that line has started, and construction on the treatment plant is well underway and scheduled for completion early 2015. That's the completion of my report.
Thank you, sir. Mayor Pro Tem Lazar.
Thank you, Mayor. First report is a TDA, Tourism Development Authority. Our activities have begun for the new year. 2 weeks ago, we hosted the Montfort Point Memorial Annual Ceremony and their new motorcycle run. On Friday, September 19th, the participants in the Marine Corps Half Marathons will be welcomed at a Jacksonville Onslow Sports Commission sponsored expo at the Riverwalk Palooza site at Riverwalk Crossing Park. Over 900 runners are signed up as of now, far above the pace of sign-ups of last year, and an estimated 1,000 runners are expected for the event, which is pretty significant. These runners and their families will be welcomed to the expo to pick up their packets, enjoy a pasta dinner, and enjoy the Riverwalk Palooza Festival. So we've sort of coordinated it all around that. We're hopefully they'll consider returning to the festival Saturday for the big events being held during this water-based festival this year. The North Carolina Fashion Week has already had several successful talent searches, and a number of local models will be participating in this inaugural event. It involves the public with wonderful fashion shows and a chance to showcase some unique fashions that are on sale here in Jacksonville. Some of the strategy of the authority work, we will continue to work on a sports facility that would increase the number of overnight stays in our Jacksonville lodging facility. The work is to focus on getting factual data on which sports would be considered for a major complex and the type of construction that would facilitate the maximum overnight stays. And we are currently looking for someone to conduct that study for us as we move forward in that. Our next meeting is scheduled for September 25th at 1:30 p.m. And of course, we welcome anyone that would be interested in attending to please come. They'll be here at rooms A and B, I believe, downstairs. Also, I've provided each one of you with a recap of the TIP projects, transportation projects, and very quickly, I'll go over some completions. The US 17 Jacksonville bypass on Huff Drive, which connects White Street Interchange, connecting Bell Fork Road to Western Boulevard, that's completed. Country Club Road to Western Boulevard, that is also completed. Western Boulevard to Fairway Drive, that's completed. And then our intelligent transportation system is under testing currently. And we look for that to potentially be fully online October 2014. As many of you know, the NC-24 new base entrance has been open, I believe, in the morning until 8 o'clock, 8 a.m. We look for that to be fully completed by 2016, and that's made a significant impact on traffic flows, and I think it's well received for many that travel on and off the base. So you can only go on until 8 o'clock in the morning, but you can come off at any time of the day. Also, there's a lot of other resurfacing projects and other details that are there for your review. And as always, if you have any questions or concern regarding transportation, please don't hesitate to contact me or Bob Warden, and we'll be glad to move those initiatives forward. That's the end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Woodard.
Mayor, members of council, first of all, we would like to remind the public that this was a Labor Day week, which means that we will not be collecting any horticultural material this week. So if your wife put out the horticultural material, thank her for doing that, and also ask her if she'd please take it back to the back of your house, and we'll pick it up next week on schedule. The other thing with sanitation, with the end of August, we have now gone back to our regular schedule. We would like to thank the public. We've had extremely good participation and cooperation by people getting their garbage cans out early. We ran a 6:30 shift for the entire summer due to heat. As of this morning, we went back to the 7:30 shift. So again, we really thank the public for the excellent cooperation they gave during that time. The Jacksonville Citizens Academy Fall Edition is also coming up. We had some great experiences this past year, Anyone who would like to enroll, they should please contact City Hall. The Citizens Academy occurs every Wednesday in October from 4 o'clock until 6:30. And if you really want to learn about the workings of your city government, this is where you actually get into a garbage truck. This is where you actually see how a fire truck works. Now, I know that Ms. Washington got real excited when she thought she was going to get to drive the fire truck this past year, but we told her unless she had the necessary CDL licenses and fire patches. But we really encourage the citizens to take part in this. It allows you to see how your tax money is actually spent. It is not a classroom where you sit and people talk. It is really a hands-on experience. You get to go to the land treatment site. You get to do a lot of interesting things, and we would encourage people to participate. This past Saturday, many of us woke up sore, and that was because on Friday, about a dozen of your city leadership, primarily women, several of whom are here today, they assembled down in the area of Kerr Street, and they actually dug the footers for a new home that's going in there. Now, a footer, for those of you who don't know, is not just, a little hole in the ground. It's 24 inches wide by almost 20 inches deep, and I'm going to tell you, there was a lot of dirt that came out of those holes. Mayor, what's amazing is more dirt comes out of a hole than goes in. I never have figured that out. But I do want to compliment the city staff, for being there. We had, I believe, 8 women and 2 men, and I can tell you the women outdug the men 4 to 1, or maybe 8 to 1, but they did a great job. That Habitat House is being built on a lot which the city council donated. It was a community development block grant lot, and we're going to have a new family. I believe it's a family of 2 children, and of course mother and father. Hopefully by springtime they'll be moving into that new facility. Population estimate has come out. As you'll recall, when the 2010 census came out, we were all disappointed by the number that it said the city population was. And that was because of the undercount relative to the way that deployment is counted. We're very pleased to tell you that while the census said that we had a population of about 70,145, the state demographer says our population as of July 1, 2013, so more than a year ago, was 78,190 people. Now, that doesn't mean that Jacksonville has grown by 8,000 people in the last 3 years. What it shows is the fallacy that the Census Bureau's calculations have regarding deployment. I will tell you that an effort being led by the mayor and Mayor Pro Tem, along with the mayors of 4 other host communities, we're working with the governor's office to try to get focus on the need to change the way deployed personnel are counted nationwide. In this state, the undercount cost the state of North Carolina 1 representative seat. We would have 1 more representative from North Carolina in Washington if they had counted deployments a different way than the way they did. It's going to take congressional action. It's something that we're focused on, and it's hard to believe we're only, a little over 5 years away from the next census, so we can't sit and wait for this to occur. Lastly, Mayor, as always, we'd like to thank you and the council for the excellent leadership that you provide. We appreciate the stability. We wish you the very best in the days ahead.
Thank you. Mr. Carter? No report. All right, I will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Meeting's adjourned.